Smoke from those wildfires is just an example of one of the many issues playing out right now regarding the environment. And many are due to climate change, but others are related to infrastructure. As you recall, East Palestine, Ohio, when a Norfolk Southern train derailed, spilling toxic chemicals. Now, 4 months later, residents there are still experiencing headaches and nausea. A new investigation of the accident suggests that the decision to burn off the hazardous material on the train may not have been necessary. All this begs the question, when constant media attention fades, how can a small community keep getting the help it needs? Well, that's one of the reasons we wanted to bring back consumer advocate and environmental activist Erin Brockovich, who's continued to work with the residents in East Palestine. Erin, thank you so much for being here. And, we talk about the headaches and nausea that some of these residents are feeling. That may be the least of it. I know in my hometown, there were toxins dumped into a body of water. 20 years later, a disproportionate number of people around that body of water were getting cancer. So I guess the question is, when the media moves on, when the politicians go back to their offices, how does a small town keep the focus on this and focus on making sure that environmental justice happens?
Well, it's a great question. And good morning, Joe. Thank you for having me on. And it's really frustrating for this community. It's frustrating for communities across this country that this happens to keep up the fight and to keep up with what's total lack of transparency. And what they're looking for is just the simple truth. We've gone through a situation where they've said it was vinyl chloride. It was an open burn, not a controlled burn. It's misinformation. It's in the water. It's not in the water. And that in of itself creates some of the worst scenarios for these people, because you're just gaslighting them and telling them, oh, yeah, there was this terrible spill, but it really is a chemical that can't hurt you and life just goes on. When they're still cleaning it up, when people still can't get back home, those that went home can't stay home because of the smell, the nausea, the headaches, the eye issues, the dizziness. It breaks my heart when they call and say to me, so what are we going to do? Just sit here now and wait for the 10 years to pass to get cancer? It's a terrible situation, and it stems from, you said a real dirty word in my book, in your opening, about infrastructure. And this is something that we won't talk about, that we're not looking at, that is the root cause of so many of these derailments and our other environmental issues. But if you would be direct and honest with these people, it was vinyl chloride. It is dangerous. Set guidelines, follow up on this community. You should have never let them back until it was all clear. You could have saved yourself a lot of grief as an agency. You could have done the right thing by these people who are now scattered, misinformed, scared, upset, have nowhere to go. And when the media does move on and the politicians go back, they just think everything's fine, when in fact it's not. And you're right. We wake up 10, 15, 20 years later and we go, oh, Houston, we have a problem, and public health is at serious risk here. So I get very passionate and very frustrated by this. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I have seen the same scenario that's happening in East Palestine play itself out across America in multiple cities and every single state. Yet we continue to do the same thing and basically lie, ignore it, cover it up, and expect these people to move on. It's not how it's working out. And East Palestine is still really struggling.
Yeah, it never works out that way, it seems. So talk about, with all of your experience, all the fights that you've had through the years with moneyed interest, with corporate interest, talk about what the people of East Palestine need and what we all need to do for people who are concerned about this. What needs to be done?
Well, a lot of them, the problems they have. So the railroads have them in hotels. and they don't know where to send their kids to school. Some of the kids are back in school. They're very concerned about their homes that they're still having to pay mortgage on. So they come into a real financial crunch. What they need is the truth. It was vinyl chloride. They need the truth of what the levels are. They need the truth now. Look, you just can't come back home. So what they need is guidance. They need guidance from their local state officials, their local governor, on what to do, where you could permanently put them. I mean, Joe, when we see massive hurricanes and destruction, oftentimes FEMA will come in, they'll set up housing, they'll take care of school, they'll take care of helping with finances. What are they going to do with their mortgages? Are they going to lose their home? So they need critical things like that. But yet in this situation, they've got none of it. They're just scattered. They don't know where to go. They're terrified to go home. They feel like they're hitting financial ruins, and they're dealing with their health issues. So one, reporting on it, that this is still happening, helps give them some support and motivation. They continue to show up at meetings. They try to go up to the Capitol in the state, and they're oftentimes told to leave the meetings. They can't be disruptive. And it's really, they continue to just get pushed back. And that voice, at some point, they just kind of break and just sit there and don't know what to do.
Erin, can you talk to us a little bit about the kind of community organizing that it takes in these small towns or even cities to get the attention of local, state, federal officials to get help? Unfortunately, communities across the country have seen these kind of disasters, big and small. So what is that blueprint? What does it look like? What does a community do?
Yeah, I have learned in these communities every single time, the ones that break through is the one mom who's really upset that she's been lied to and her child is at harm. And they begin to organize. And it's difficult because oftentimes they're fractured and everybody has left or moved on, or oftentimes is afraid to speak up. And this is the one thing that I've seen happen, and it continues to happen to me. If you want to have a conversation about a chemical, an agency that isn't being forthwith, regulations, failures of oversight, infrastructures, you're often pushed back on, or they're intimidated and they don't want to come up and say anything because they think that they can't. They are continuing to go out there and try to show up, but it is about not, oh my gosh, this has happened to me so many times, because you're told in these communities, well, you're not a doctor and you're not a lawyer and you're not a scientist and you're really a stay-at-home mom. What would you know? That is maddening. You don't have to be any of that to be human and to see that you were involved in a situation and your child's been harmed, to speak up. So a lot of times when these, especially women, the mothers, find that center, that voice, and they'll come out and stay with it, they can get heard and they can get momentum. But it's not something that you can start in tomorrow. It's a long haul, and it's a lot of determination, and you have to just keep coming back and keep coming back. And many communities will do that. You've seen the mothers in Flint do that, and 7-8 years on, they're still showing up at city council. Yes.
Yeah, and certainly they all have you. We have a little delay here, but I was going to say they all have you to look to as an example of what happens when you are willing to fight back. Consumer advocate and environmental activist Erin Brockovich, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you'll come back soon.